Hi, my name is Sean Brown, and I'm a member of the Camden School Board, the director and founder of Young Urban Leaders, a resident of the city, a father and fiance in the city, and a person that cares about what happens in my own house, but also what happens in the overall community. I'm involved in a few things, and I wanted to take a few minutes just to talk about a lot of things that I'm involved in and how they're connected, and to settle some bad information that's out there. So if there is a if I was preaching today, which I'm not, but if I were, then the title of the message would be, don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. And that's a message that I've been telling myself for the last few months. So Camden is a real interesting place, and there's so much going on all the time, and it's so easy to get distracted. Right now, it appears that the entire police department will be laid off, and 49% of those officers will be hired back in April with a new set of cops that will come in with a county-run Metro Police Department. And our mayor and other people have given out some of the details, but there's still a lot of questions that people have, and certainly an amount of uncertainty that exists. I sit on the school board, and there are all sorts of things going on. We're in the process of hiring a new superintendent, which is a big deal. We're in the process of working with the Regional Achievement Center, headed by Dave Hardy, who's responsible for making sure that the curriculum and other things in 23 of our schools in Camden are done in a way that helps students become more successful. There's violence in our schools and in our communities. Beyond just the murders, there's assaults of people getting shot, women getting raped, cars getting stolen, homes being broken into, air conditioners and heating units not working because of stolen copper. It always seems to be something related to violence and crime in our city that has an impact on our lives. And there's an upcoming election in June of this year. The voters will be able to decide what Democrat runs for mayor, and in November of this year there will be an election, and it's hard to see who exactly will be running in the election and how competitive it will be. But we do know that who wins and who runs the city matters. I have a few things going on too, and as I try to work on those things, again, it's really hard sometimes to work on things without being distracted by the noise and sometimes even the nonsense of what happens. I'm going to give you an example. In November, I, as a school board member, voted yes for a proposal to enter into contract negotiations with what's being called the Norcross KIPP School, an elementary school in Landing Square that will ultimately replace a school that collapsed over 10 years ago. I voted no the first time that proposal was presented to the board because I had a lot of issues and concerns about it. Many of those issues and concerns were addressed. The day I voted yes, my questions were answered and promises were made, and if those promises are agreed upon in a written contract, then I would vote yes for that contract, which is the next big step of what's going to happen. But after I voted yes, I knew that certain people would be upset and irritated, but I didn't expect people to go around saying stuff that just wasn't true. There was a rumor going around that somehow I accepted money on behalf of my organization for kids that I'm taking to Africa, and it's just not true. No part of it is true. For one, the people that would possibly offer me that money would just never do so because they don't trust me enough or like me enough to do that. They would think that I would go out on Facebook or make a video and saying that, hey, they offered me this bribe, and they just wouldn't do that. And I would never take it. Not only is it illegal and unethical, it's really unnecessary. I make my votes based on what's in the best interest of young people. We can disagree on what is in the interest of young people or whether specific votes are in the interest of young people or not. But it's really unhealthy to go around saying stuff about people that's not true, to spread rumors when you don't have the facts. And that is one of the reasons why Camden continues to be the way it is. When you have good people that come to the table, and those good people have minor disagreements or even major disagreements, sometimes and too often the conversation stops. The progress discontinues. people build up walls around themselves and don't want to continue working with people. Too quickly, people go out to Facebook or to social media to say something that could be much better said face to face or on a phone conversation, or over a beverage, and people don't take advantage of that. We get distracted too easily. We see this in Congress in the way it communicates with our president. We see this in Trenton with the way the legislature interacts with our governor. And we see it right here in Camden where there is division. And I don't want to be divided. I want to be able to get along with as many people as possible. I want to be able to get along with as many people as possible, not because I want to like as many people as possible or I want as many people as possible to like me, but because there's work I need to get done, and it's easier to get that work done. It's more effective to get that work done if people are working in teams, if people are collaborating, if people are just getting along and focused on the professional goals of making the city a better place for people to live. For the families that still live here, for the poor people that have chosen or can't afford to go somewhere else, we deserve to live in a place that's clean, a place that's safe, and a place that has good schools. And that's a basic expectation that everybody should be able to agree to work upon. So let me tell you a little bit about the work that I'm doing. The Martin Luther King lived in Camden on the weekends in the late 1940s while he was in seminary, while he was studying to be a preacher at Crozier in Chester, Pennsylvania. The house that he once lived in had tax liens on it. Heart of Camden, a nonprofit organization that focuses on work in South Camden, bought those liens and is in the process of owning the house, what's known as free and clear, owning the house totally. At that point, young urban leaders will own the house, donated by Heart of Camden, as long as we do a few things, including make sure that the house is a place that meets the legacy of Dr. King, and it's a place of service and that helps people in Camden, whether it be organizations or individuals. And as the director and founder of the organization, I will certainly see that that happens. We're doing Freedom Walkers, where our members and friends of the organization are being encouraged to walk the streets of Camden and to talk to people about the importance and the power of education. And most importantly, and maybe most exciting, we're taking a group of young people to Africa. I hope this becomes an annual or a biannual tradition where young people have an opportunity to go to Africa to see the land, to see people from another place, to understand different cultures, and more importantly, understand the fact that poverty looks different in different places, and that we as Americans and we as minorities, we have a place not only in this country but in this world, and our responsibility has been and continues to be to make sure that people get a decent education and that we lift those out of poverty when and where we can. When I decided to get involved in public service, I knew that it would be difficult. I knew there would be tactics of persuasion and convincing. There would be debates and arguments that would happen. I must admit that I was unprepared completely for the amount of untrue things that go on and are said about a person. I was unprepared for the amount of negativity that there is. However, there's also been a lot of good. There are young people in the city of Camden that get a better education today than they would have if I had not spoken up on certain issues, if I had not established relationships with certain people. And anytime a person is able to look at a young person and say that person's life is better today, you cannot help but to say that there are multiple people, that there are many people responsible for it. So I get maybe 5% if you're able to measure 5% of the credit. But it's because those relationships have been established and those partnerships have been made that the work continues. And there's a lot of good things I'm going to try to continue to do on the school board, which I'll let you know about. So I'm looking at my time. I've been talking a while. I got 30 seconds until 10 minutes is up, so I'll try to keep this under 10 minutes and say, for those that are supporters and that want to get things done, I welcome. For those that are critics and that spread rumors, I ask that you think about the impact of what you're doing. And if you have questions or issues, that you talk to me. You can call me, 856-295-2955. And you can check out the work for the organization at youngurbanleaders.org. Have a good day, everybody. And thanks for listening.